Hello and welcome to First Flight, a Star Trek Enterprise rewatch podcast where we are watching and discussing each episode of Enterprise in succession. First Flight is a proud member of the Tricorder Transmissions Network.
This is Commander Tucker of Enterprise. We've got some information you're going to want to hear.
Welcome, Enterprise fans. I'm your co-host, Chris.
And I'm your co-host, Abby. And tonight we are bringing you a bonus episode about our reactions to all the Trek happenings that have been going on this month. We had the last two episodes of Strange New Worlds, Subspace, Rhapsody, and Hegemony, and positive news and a brief preview of Prodigy Season 2. We had so much to say, and we've gotten such great feedback from the Carrot crew about our buttons discussing other Trek that we decided to drop a bonus episode about our reactions.
So if you came here just for Enterprise, go ahead and skip this episode and we'll catch you next time. Otherwise, here is your read alert.
Tactical alert. All hands to stations.
There are potential spoilers ahead. We might end up talking about any part of the series at any time, so you have been warned. Okay, Abby, let's start with the episodes of Strange New Worlds. So, feel like singing?
August so far, and we just had to get these thoughts out there. So for all you fabulous members of the Carrot crew who stuck around to listen to us talk forever beyond Enterprise, thank you. This was something we just felt like we had to share, especially since we know you guys have been liking the little bits of our extra conversation. So we love hearing from you as well. Please feel free to drop us your thoughts on anything we chatted about today, in addition to anything Enterprise.
Yes, please do reach out to us and share any thoughts or smiles that you have for us using the hashtag Carrot Crew. You can reach us at First Flight on Twitter or X. We need a meme where Musk's face is there and the caption is, "I'm the X." It needs to happen. Right?
That would be hilarious.
So on X or Twitter, we're at First Flight Pod, and we're on Instagram and Facebook as well. You can find us on YouTube under the Tricorder Transmissions Network too. You can find me personally at Shelf Nerds on Twitter /X and on my YouTube channel, Completing the Shelf. Abby, where can we find you?
All right, so you can definitely still find me on Twitter or X, whatever, at Abby M. Summer. That's SOMMER. I've dipped my foot into some of the other places, Blue Sky and Mastodon and Threads, but I don't have time for 17 things. So if you find me in one of those places, though, I will make sure to write you back. So find us and tell us what you think.
We want to thank you for spending this time with us, all of this time. We'll be back next time with our second mailbag show of season 2. Woo-hoo. So get us your Carrot Crew comments. And as always, we will leave you with this quote from Captain Jonathan Archer and your moment of Melanie.
The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us, all of us, to each other.
I keep hearing people say that they saw the screener because it dropped when they were in STLV, and how many people were like, you hear the accent and all of a sudden you're like, Sky! And like everybody had to pause and rewind because the cheering. I'm like, oh, I'm so jealous. That would have been so fun. It's so cool.
That wasn't my reaction.
No?
Honestly, no. I was like, all right, who is this guy? He has a Scottish accent like Scotty. I was like, they're not going to go. Like, I guess it didn't even enter my mind that they were going to go with Scotty.
Funny.
I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds like Scotty. Who is this guy? And I like the detail that he's Lieutenant Junior grade.
Mm-hmm. Lieutenant junior grade.
Yes. Although it's not spelled like that at all, but
No, it is not. But you know what? We can say that about a lot of words in English. So it is
Oh
not
yeah.
alone.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know if you remember years ago, I did those when I first started the monthly Trek prompts, but there was video component going with it. And
Vaguely.
there was a narrative arc for each of them, and they were like a minute and a half. And one person on Twitter, Tansy, I forget her whole screen name, but she's British, and she retrained herself to say lieutenant the way they say it on Star Trek. Just for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay.
The things we do for the things we love.
Yeah, Star Trek.
Well, okay. I'll have to say my dorky thing is when I was a kid and I started writing the dates with just the numbers, instead of putting like a slash or a dash, I always just put like a dot. So it looks like a star date
Oh.
with an extra dot. And I still do it to this day. Like I've trained myself to put dots in my dates because
So-
I want them to be star dates.
Would you go like 0820.23?
No, I would put the dots. So I would be like 08.20.2023 or 23, depending what you have to do it. But the dots just go where the dashes and slashes go. So I mean, it's not anywhere close to anything accurate. It's just my little nerdy way of going. I'm putting it everywhere. Thank you very much.
I just heard Boimler in my head say, "Oh, 5 digits. That's totally a normal amount to
Totally
have."
normal starting.
Gosh, I love
That
that.
was so funny.
Oh,
I love that you loved my Riker at the end of my Trek
Riker.
picks. Like I couldn't not do that. Like I'm like, I don't care how many other syllables I have to take out. I am putting that in there.
Oh, like that clip came up scrolling the other day, and I just played it, and I was dying laughing. And my wife's like, "What are you laughing about?" I'm like, "This guy just said Riker." She doesn't know
And
anything
it's
about
so
the
much
Riker,
better.
or yeah.
Yeah, it's so much better knowing that that was completely ad-libbed.
Yeah.
I would pay money to see Jonathan Frakes' face when that happened. Like he must have just lost it.
Well, I love that his wife screamed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
From one of my older schools, there's a band director who's amazing, and he's a nerd. And he knew I liked Star Trek. And, sometimes like people talk about Star Trek to you, and you're just not sure at what level of Star Trek are they.
Right,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? Like, I'm not judging what level you are, but like, how much do I show in a
Exactly.
professional setting, right?
Exactly.
So I never like showed too much. He would try and bring it up, but I would just yeah. But then he randomly showed up at my church today, in the row in front of me. He comes in late, and I'm like, dude, shake hands. Afterwards, he's like, I was thinking about you all summer because I was doing Star Trek Summer. I watched all of season 1 of Strange New Worlds, loved it, then went right into Discovery, hated it, and then loved it.
Oh no.
Because like it's such a tone like whiplash to season 1 of
it is.
Discovery, but he eventually ended up loving it. Yeah. And so I'm like, dude, if you want to watch Star Trek, let me know. Anyway,
That's fantastic.
so someone might have someone to watch Star Trek with.
That would be really cool. That would be really fun.
Yep.
Well, and then you can really judge how much before you be like, hey, by the way, I talk about this and put it out in the world because that's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
I am what you're known as obsessive, and I'm okay with it. I broadcast my obsessiveness.
We all have our passions. Some people paint their bodies in football team colors and have rooms dedicated to jerseys on the wall and all these things. And some of us have a collection of 50 Eagle Moss starships and, like 6, 7 uniforms in my closet.
It happens to the best of us.
Yep.
some of us might have fallen down a rabbit hole of t-shirts recently.
Oh,
And
yes. I haven't been able to go to that website yet.
oh, it's so cool.
But I'm resisting on purpose because we just had a recent budget meeting.
No.
And yeah, so trying to get back on track.
Yeah, I know. But I also have told my husband that I know Titmouse is doing their Lower Decks t-shirts episode by episode again. And I said every year there is one that I just go, oh my God, I need to wear that. And I said, I'm assuming that's going to happen. There's always
Yep.
been a couple more that I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll think about it if they're still there by the end. And then they're not, and it's no big deal. I said, but there will be one, and I don't know if it's going to be the first one or the last one or whatever, but I will immediately go on and buy it. And I don't care what it costs because it's going to be one of my things to get me through the beginning of the school year. He's like, okay. So, like, remember my Space Whale shirt? I've got the one, the Cetacean Ops one.
Yes.
I wear it all the time. And he's like, that's one of those? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, those are cool. I'm like, thank you. So just don't be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter said I have to get a Spock uniform for Halloween.
Hey.
I'm like, I mean, I have the Discovery blue. But I want to get Strange New Worlds. I have Mbenga's shirt.
Yeah,
which is
that's
cool.
so cool.
But anyway, we should get into the topic at hand.
Let's do that.
Although I feel like this is the tone of this episode anyway. Light and fun.
Yes.
Not that we're overly serious and heavy anyway.
No, but we're really not. We didn't put anything in here that's decons. Like, we absolutely can, and we can talk about theories. And I'm going to bring up my thing about the Gorn and they can survive in space. And all. That'll all be in there, but there's no like negative chunk because we're doing this because we're so excited.
I was going to rewatch In a Mirror Darkly just for that because I don't remember that fact because I don't really watch that episode much.
That one is it's something. It's something, but there's plenty of other people who have thought the same thing immediately, and then there's like 15 billion explanations that I'll go into. So it's really not that important, and it is probably my least favorite iteration of the Gorn. Like, I'd rather have the TOS guy in the sparkly costume and rubber suit. Like the Enterprise one, it was just 2 years past that, it would have looked so much better.
Yeah.
But they just didn't have the CGI to not make it look silly. And they should be scary. And like, I know that the original Gorn wasn't scary, but he was intimidating. Like,
my son was totally in. He watched Arena with me the other day. And he was totally absorbed. Totally absorbed.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Well, I promised the girls the next time we have a girls' night that we can watch the ones about the Vulcans playing baseball on the space station.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have a Niners t-shirt I was wearing the other day. And Ellie was like, oh, we got to watch that one. I'm like, okay. And they really want to, I have to show them Future's End now because they were asking about the Doctor's mobile emitter from the Prodigy clip. And so I'm like, we got to do some of this. And I'm like, the two-rag. And she goes, that's the one it's from? Oh my God, that's why we call it the two-rag? Yes, it is. So we got some fun coming up.
Our kids are on a similar wavelength because my daughter, right after I showed that clip with the Doctor, she's like, wait, I thought Hollow Janeway couldn't go out of the ship. How is this guy getting out of the ship? I'm like, well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is a good and a not good thing sometimes. This is what we know as a plot device.
And then I look at my wife and I just say, I'm footloose and fancy free. And she's like, you're a geek. I'm like, yes, I am.
Yep. And this should not be surprising.
Nope.
At this point in the relationship.
Oh, so sorry. The last 20 seconds of the Crossing episode. I don't know if you've listened to it yet. Probably not.
I haven't yet, no.
I had to include it just to demonstrate how nerdy we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am going to have to go listen later tonight.
It's not a big deal, but it's just like, why is that the way he ends? Because it made me laugh.
And you know what? I'm pretty sure if it made you laugh, I'm going to be snickering too, because similar, like, I was talking to Melanie the other day and talking to her, and she goes, what I said one thing she likes about this season with us is that we have that naturalness. We've got that, like she and I are brain twins. We were saying we noticed the same thing that we're going to talk about in Hegemony, and I was like, "Yep, of course you did." And I knew you were noticing and thinking the same thing. And and she goes, "But you and Chris do the same thing, but you do it on different things, and you and I would have done it on." I'm like, "I know, it's cool. Like you found somebody else that you gel with, and it's in a slightly different way, but it still works. So that's cool."
Yes.